Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. You got your host right here, MMA Locker Room, bringing you seconds out. Yeah, seconds out on this exclusive Friday. Why are we here right now? We're not going to be talking about no fight breakdowns or predictions or anything like that. No, not at all. We have one of the up-and-coming UFC fighters, top in her division, definitely turning heads. I'm talking about Sabina Mazo, 9-1 record. Coming from LFA, making her debut in UFC, 3 wins already, and they're looking impressive. She has a fight coming up, so we got her backstage, you guys. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes just to click on the link and let you guys know that we're live. But yes, we have the one and only Colombian queen, Sabina Mazo, backstage. So let me just run through some of the people that we got up here in the live chat so far. All right, Big Show Picks, what up? Skywalker DFS, Ramrock. Let's see who else. Pub Sports Radio, Boston Nick, and my boy MMA Unhinged, man. There we go. So real quick, I want to get you guys up to tune with, one of the reasons why I'm high on this fighter right here. I seen her at LFA. My first time seeing her was at a Curtis Millender versus Kevin Holland fight in San Bernardino. I believe she was supposed to fight, but she got injured or something. And right when I walked in the arena, when you could just see an athlete or a fighter and she's an athlete or a fighter. I was walking in. It was probably 2018 or 17. I didn't know who she was at the time, but I seen her and I just knew she's a fighter. At the time, I didn't want to go up to her and ask her for a picture because I just got in the event and everything, but I knew it. I knew when I seen her, that's an athlete, that's a fighter. Knew she would be in the UFC some way. Looks like I got it right, man. So that's my little rundown on that real quick. And then just to let you guys know, so here at Pub Sports Radio, we like to gamble sometimes, and some of the fighters that we gamble on, it's one thing to have them on stage with us and screen. So let's just show you guys real quick. So I seen on the first fight, I cashed in on that. I had Sabina Mazo. I took her straight, even though it was a heavy price tag. I had her as a prop too, to win by decision. She didn't pull that one off. But it don't matter because, like I said, I got her straight, and then I put her in a lot of parlays. So far, I'm on the right end of that one. My boy Jalen Turner from IE Inland Empire. Yeah, so that's that right there. So just want to let you guys know, man, big believer. I just don't say I bet the fighters. I actually bet the fighters and won. I'll just give you guys a little quick rundown. She opened up at a -230 against Justine Quiche on there. By the time the fight started, she got all the way down to a -170. I bet it twice and banked up. Heavy favorite on there, and she cashed in on it. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring her on in. Right now, I like to welcome to the show one of the up-and-coming UFC prospects, Sabina Mazo, a.k.a. the Colombian Queen.
How you doing out there, Sabina? Thank you, man. What a great introduction. I think I don't remember exactly the show you're talking about, but yeah, we've been around, trying to appear, and well, now we're in the UFC, so we're in the right path.
Right path. Tell me one thing. So when I Google Colombian fighters and stuff, you're like the number one popular Colombian fighter. How does it feel to put Colombia on the map?
It's amazing, and being female as well, because it's a very new sport, in Colombia, and to have the opportunity, to be one of them and one of the first in MMA, because there's a lot of fighters. There's Muay Thai fighters, there's boxing, there's a lot of history in that. But opening the path as an MMA fighter, it's it's good. It's an opportunity and also a responsibility, for the other oncoming fighters that are building right now in Colombia.
Yeah, speaking of boxing in Colombia, didn't you start off boxing?
Yeah, I did. I did with the jiu-jitsu and boxing, but I did compete some boxing. I wanted to do the Olympic cycle, so I kind of started with that. I did a lot of, amateur fights in boxing. I travel around Colombia doing that, but I found MMA and kind of, start the path in a different direction. But it's definitely it was a dream that I had.
Speaking about dreams that you had, going from LFA, champion belt to the UFC, how is that like when you got that phone call to the UFC, and how has your life changed since?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fighters' dream to get to the UFC, and it was the opportunity of work, like that's the business I want. That's where I want to be working on, and you know how professional they are. You know the level of the fights are even higher, and you wanna be the best of the world. You wanna compete against the best in the world. So yeah, it's an honor to be in this company, and you always get impressed by the way they do stuff. Look, it's the sport, one of the first sports that started again since all this quarantine and all this stuff. So working for a company like that is just amazing.
Yeah, definitely amazing. So, what was like the first? Who was the first UFC fighter you seen to where you're just like, oh wow, I'm here now? To where it's kind of like one of those moments, like a shock jaw moment.
Well, I think not fighters, but the first moment that I saw Dana White, I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, I work here." Like this is real. This is not a joke, and of course, a lot of fighters and stuff. But I was kind of used to train with them at King's MMA, so I didn't have that shock of, oh my God, look, I'm working by the side of this other fighter. No, it was more like seeing uh, the people that worked in the UFC, speaking like Dan White or like the matchmakers. That's when
Sean
you
Shelby.
realize, like, yeah, you work here.
Got it. Yeah. So another thing. So let me ask, like, did your training change since you got to the UFC, or pretty much has it stayed the same? Because I know you're all around. You got three different camps. You got Kings MMA in Anaheim with Benel Dariush. Then you got Kings MMA in Huntington Beach with Gaslin and everybody over there. Then you do some Muay Thai, I believe, out in Beverly Hills as well. So since being in UFC, did anything change? Did you do 2 a days, 3 a days now, or anything like that?
I feel like the training is constantly changing. Of course, I've been in the UFC now 2 years, so in the past 2 years, my training has changed a little. I have to adjust if I will have to train a little bit more wrestling, so I'll go to one location a little bit more, or it really depends on the moment I am living in that precise moment. So definitely my training has been changing. I've been training a lot towards the LA area, and of course some wrestling. So it really depends on what I want to focus on, and but yeah, and also conditioning. That's another training that in the past months has been key for me. I've been training a lot of strength and conditioning.
Got it. And I got a question right now from the chat. Alex Ramirez wants to know, Sabina, what do you like to do outside of the ring?
Ah, man, I love the beach. I actually moved to a place very close to the beach, so just like walking around. I like to watch TV. I like to be like with my family. Just I'm a very calm person, I could say. So like when I'm not active and like training hard, I just like to take that time for me and just like relax. So yeah.
Yeah, speaking of relaxing, what are you doing right now? I mean, it's Friday, 2 o'clock p.m. out here in California. Did you already get your training in, or do you have a late night session?
I do have a late night session going on later. I'm gonna do some Muay Thai work, some mitts. But right now I was just relaxing, kind of use the morning to take care of the house, like cleaning and that stuff, and yeah, getting just relaxing and getting ready for the session.
Speaking about relaxing and getting ready for the morning, what's that one song that you play that just puts you in the mood? No matter what, to where it just changes up your day and brightens up everything. What's that one song you have?
Well, I don't know. I have one song, but one artist, I would say, and I think a lot of people agree. It's Bob Marley. You can whatever you're doing, you can put Bob Marley, and your day is gonna, get better. So yeah, for sure.
Yes. Everything's gonna be all right. Yes,
Yeah.
I hear you on that. All right. So since being in the UFC debut, you made your debut, bouncing back off of defeat, going 3-0. How is your mentality since your loss? And then also, how did you overcome that and feel once you got your hand raised?
Yeah, I feel I already passed through defeat in other sports in Muay Thai. Well, not in boxing, but I did pass in Muay Thai and Jiu Jitsu. So it was not the first taste of defeat that I had in my life. But of course, in MMA, it's important your record. If you want to go up in rankings, you need your record. So in one point, it was, of course, I was disappointed with my performance and stuff. But I had this feeling, and even other fights that I won, and I didn't felt like I did everything that I had. So of course, it was it was a bitter taste of it, but I think it gave me like power and like energy to come back and to train a little bit harder to for my next fight, and kind of analyze what I did wrong in that fight. Because if that wouldn't happen in that moment, I think it will happen in the future. So eventually, I'm trying to learn from that. I don't want to make the same mistakes that I did in that fight.
Yeah, speaking, I mean, your next fight, I mean, that was a hell of a way to bounce back. Why? I was in the arena, UFC 214 versus Shayna Dobson. I remember that one vividly. I got to go to the event and everything. So, yeah, I still remember, and I still got pictures of like all the fights on there, too. So, I was glad to be there for that first one, too, as well.
It was very, very nice that fight. I felt good. Just some stuff that I also learned from that fight that I could, finish the fight. But it was good. It was a good fight, and I feel like every time it's better and better. There's more opponents, and the idea is, to get higher ranked fighters. Like my next upcoming fight, that she's number 13 in flyweight. Either I know the fight is gonna happen in bantamweight, but she's still
I,
ranked in flyweight, so it's a great opportunity for me because I'm going up to 135, but I'm a 125 fighter as well. It's not like I want to stick in the bantamweight.
Speaking of that, yeah, I mean, let's get into it. Yes, your next fight coming up against Alexa Davis, February 27th, if I'm correct. Stepping up to 135 now. Yeah, you're not ranked there, but you're ranked at 125. So if you get that win right there, definitely going to be in that top 10. And I like how you said you're not just staring away from that division. So let me ask you then, just because I like to play matchmaker sometimes, if you were to stick in 125, how do you feel about an opponent like Tracy Cortez?
um, I think it's a great opportunity. Look, I think all the names in the flyweight, because there's a new division, they're all like a prospect for a fight. You know, I think I'm not ranked in number 10 on the flyweight division, or either of those, but you have to be, we have to be fighting anyone to get up there. So before I'm in that top 10, give me anyone, because the game is that you have to beat different games, you have to beat different names, and I think it will be a good fight as well.
There you go. I like to hear that. I mean, coming off your last fight, you landed a beautiful head kick. Not the first time you done that, though. We know all about you on your resume. Drop quiche, then you followed up by grabbing the neck, getting the submission win. That was your first professional career getting the submission, right?
Yeah.
So
First
how
time.
did it feel to get that tap, tap, tap?
Oh man, it was sweet. It was sweet, it was everything in that moment goes very, very fast, and like you just don't want to let go. As soon as I got the neck, I was like, I'm not gonna let this go until the referee stops this, because I knew I didn't have too much time, and it was a moment to finish the fight, and yeah, it was beautiful.
Yes, 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 it was. That's not the first one, though. So let me ask, all right, you know how that feels now, and I always like to ask fighters, how does it feel compared to getting a knockout win or compared to getting a submission win? Which one feels better? And now, since you got them both, which one would you probably aim for?
Well, I'm gonna tell you the feeling of seeing like a body just like drop cold in the mat. It's beautiful. It's just you applying the technique and seeing that, and it's just one touch. It's just 1 second, and the body just drops cold, and the person cannot move. You literally have control of the person's life in 1 second. I mean, there's a referee, of course, but yes, for sure. I think either way, you want to finish a fight, you want to win the fight, but of course, Muay Thai or like striking, it will be my favorite.
There you go. Yeah, I love Muay Thai myself. So MMA Unhinged was trying to meet up with us for the interview too backstage, but he couldn't. Have some little bit of technical difficulties. So a few questions he wanted to know. He said, "You're only 23 years old, very young, especially in your career. You're on the verge of getting a ranked opponent. Where could you see yourself this time next year, realistically?"
The idea is next year start fighting a little bit more often. That's also one of the options that I took for 135 fights. I think getting that high intensity, fighting pace, and so definitely I think I'm gonna be in the top 10 at the end of this year, next year.
Got it. Got it. That's good to see. Like they say, if you speak it into existence, it'll definitely happen. So let's ask too. Is your future at 135? Even though I know you said you're probably gonna bounce back between, maybe do a little bit of Kazmat Chimaev action in here.
Well, I think my future it's towards 125 because I can make that weight. Of course, it's a little bit more hard. It's harder than it will be 135, but it's not a problem for me. And I won the 125 belt. But in a future later than that, I see myself fighting in 135 as well. I'm 23 years old. I don't know if I want to make 125 when I'm 35 years old. But, here to 10 years, there's a lot that can happen. So, but for a close future, I think the 125 is my division.
Got it. Okay. And then and Hinge also says Alexis Davis is a woman who has fought the who's who in her career. Does someone like Davis give you motivation to beat her?
Yes, for sure. She has history, she has a lot of experience, and it's an honor to fight someone that has been in the sport for so long, and to show how, the next generation, if I can consider myself from that next generation coming, how we develop the game and how the new styles are coming. So, yeah, it motivates me.
Got it, got it, got it. So yeah, I mean, that's all good to hear. One thing I always like to know, what is your mentality like when you're walking out into that octagon? The first thing going through your head, are you in a relaxed, cool state of mind? Are you looking at that person like this is the person I need to go in there? He's trying to take my lunch money from him. Are you going in there, murder, murder, kill, kill? I gotta represent for Colombia. What's going on in your mind when you're walking out to that octagon?
Well, every time is different. Every time, every fight is a different moment of your life, and your training camp or the months before a fight, you prepare in a different way. Your mind is in a different stage. So every time I walk to fight, it's a different feeling. Sometimes I feel nervous. Sometimes I feel like I just want to kill this person. Sometimes I just want to feel the moment of walking, and enjoying the music, and like, man, this is my job, this is my job, and I have the opportunity that as soon as they close the cage, I can, start the fight. So, there's infinite things that happen in my mind, and it really depends on, the fight. But yeah, it's a very unique moment.
Speaking of a unique moment and situations, you got Alexa Davis. She's on a 3-fight losing streak. You got Sabina Mazo. She's on a 3-fight winning streak. So definitely it's going to be an interesting fight right here. If you could give us one prediction for February 27th, besides the win, of course,
Yeah.
how do you think it's going to get done?
Man, I think it's matter of time. As soon as the round starts, I want to not just control, not just control, but like frustrate her game and start to put my work in. I'm not predicting just to finish the fight in the first minute, but definitely just blocking her and not letting her game develop. She's gonna start. I can start seeing the opening spaces that she will have, and from there finish.
Got it, got it. So we got UFC coming up this week. Do you usually like watching the fights and stuff like that, or are you one of those persons? Hey, I do this. I don't want to watch it. I'm in the sport. Or are you with your camp just watching all the UFC events that take place every week now?
I do try to watch all the fights because it's my work. It's the people that I'm gonna fight against. They're fighting, so it's a material to study. And not only the people that you're gonna study, but or you're gonna fight, but other people. Other games. So definitely, yes, I try to watch all the shows if I can. And next weekend it's my teammate Marvin Vittori, so I'm not gonna miss that one for sure. It's a great main event.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the main event, yeah, we'll talk about that too. So, I mean, Marvin Vittori, definitely getting a step up right here. He was supposed to be fighting Jacare Souza. They're switching back forth opponents. He's facing on a tough opponent, Jack Hermanson. If Marvin Vittori pulls out this win, I think he's probably one or two fights away from the belt. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, definitely. It's a great fight for him, and he'll one more fight maybe, and then the belt for sure. I think it's very close.
Got it, got it. And then one other thing, Boston Nick, he wants to know because on Saturdays sometimes we do our own live streams. We have about 100 or 200 viewers in there. Sometimes, if you're not busy and anything like that, if we were able to send you the link just like that, would you love to hop on and maybe go over one of the two other fights?
For sure, for sure. Some comments. I'm already watching the fight, so it'll be good, interesting.
Heard it here first, Boston Nick. We got it. So let's talk about this fight right here, because this fight to me draws my attention a lot, because I'm a bettor, I'm a gambler, but I'm also a fan of MMA. So on this, I'm a fan of Montella De La Rosa right here. She's a real hefty underdog. She's all the way at a plus 225. She comes in with 11 wins, 6 losses, coming off of a loss. She just got re-signed in a UFC contract for another 4-fight deal. So it looks like the UFC is going to be pushing her. But she has a tough hand on her. She has tough competition. She's facing Talia Santos, 16 wins and 1 loss, looking off an impressive win against Molly McCann. And she's opening up on the books at a 2-1 favorite. So on this fight right here, it's going to be taking place at one of your divisions right here. How do you see this fight taking place?
I know that Talia Santos, she has a kind of pressure game. She likes jiu-jitsu. She's a really good jiu-jitsu fighter. And, in the defense of Montana, she has to really put that in. I think she doesn't, in my perspective, if she wants to get that victory, she should maintain the fight standing up, or really focused on dominating in the ground. But that's one of her strengths, like Talia Santos' strength. So definitely, it's a good, interesting fight. How the fight is going to develop, but I think I'll go with Talia.
There you go. There you go. See, so if do you bet? Do you gamble at all?
No, I never had done it, but it'll be interesting.
All right. So let's just say this, because her odds right now is pretty high. It's like minus 230. So that means, like, if I want to make $100, I have to put down $230. So instead of doing that, they have a prop to where Santos wins by knockout at plus 800. Would you feel comfortable in taking a prop like that, or would you just say
I
she's
don't
going
think
to
so.
win?
No. I don't think she's gonna knock out her, because Montana, it's tough too, and I don't think so. But maybe decision as well, with that game of putting pressure and like trying to control the fight and stuff. Maybe she can get the decision as well.
Got it. Okay, so you heard it here first. For all the gamblers out there, you heard it here first. The Colombian queen, Sabina Mazo, said, put your money on Santos right here on Seconds Out. And then besides that right now, so there's a few other fights on this card. Really the one that caught my attention was the main event and the co-main event. But besides those two fights that we just discussed, is there any other fighter on here that you're kind of rooting for or that you're interested in seeing?
I'm not sure who's in the rest of the card, to be honest with you, but main event for sure, Marvin. But I'll check it. I'll check it out. Like who other fighter, it's gonna be in the roster.
So I know he's kind of trains around the area too. Definitely not around King's MMA, but he trains at Uriyama Gym. Louis Smoker versus Johnny Quiznos. That fight's gonna be taking place. Are you familiar with Louis Smoker around the area?
I'm not actually. There's so many fighters, but I'm not familiar. What division is he in?
135.
135. There's actually, I was noticing, like, the past shows that there's a lot of 125 and 135 fights in male division. They're trying to push it a little bit more. Seems like it. And there's more and more competition about it. The 125 belt. He just fought not long ago, and I think in December he's going to defend again. So, it's kind of moving fast, so it's good.
Yeah, Figueiredo, man. He pulled out that win real quick in the first round, and then he's bouncing right back and has another opponent within like the same 4 or 5 weeks now. So
that's great, man.
Right? That's what we need, though. That's the thing that we love about MMA. How it's moving, how it's evolving. Boxing and everything, it's stagnant. It stays where it's at for years, and then finally when those fights happen, you're kind of over it.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's a lot of history as well. And but yeah, you can definitely feel like the pace of MMA, it's getting a little bit faster and faster, and there's more fighters. Of course, it's been hard times for new MMA fighters that are not in the UFC to evolve or to get fights because of all these quarantine and stuff, and but yeah, I think it's a thing to work in the future because new fighters and next generation is having a little bit of not trouble, but like that time is kind of limiting them to fight and to get experience. So yeah.
Yeah, and then Jack Attack says, Sabina, sounds like you have a good mind for the commentary and desk work. Would you ever see yourself maybe, trying to do some color commentary like Laura Sanka or doing some events at Invicta or anything like that?
Yeah, I think I'm open for it. It's my sport, it's my work. Why not? You can expand a little bit more your mind. But definitely I'll have to study a little bit more because it's not only your perspective, or that's what I feel like when you're gonna comment in a fight like that. You're not just telling your comments about what do you think about the fighters, but you really have to be, like a little bit more open mind and just be a little bit more radical, or not radical, be the opposite, a little bit more central, and kind to
Yeah.
expose what is happening rather than what you think the person is doing.
Got it. And I'll just wrap it up. I'm gonna just ask you a few more questions. One of the ones that we all want to know. So if you have your dream opponent out there, the big names and everything like that, not just in this organization, let's just say it was in past time, and you traveled back in time or anything like that. What's the one or two opponents that you just wish that you could have fought in your career that maybe is past time or that's up and coming?
Um, for sure one of the opponents that I want to have in the future, and it's going to be Valentina Shevchenko. I think she's an amazing fighter. Her style, just her mindset, her position. She's very, very good fighter. She deserves the belt. She deserves to be there. So that's one of, the fighters I want to have in the future. And, well, I think, like I told you, I had a dream like in boxing, a
Mhm.
boxing career and stuff. I stopped, kind of following up who was up there or
Okay.
whatever. But I would love to fight any women in the boxing. So yeah,
Speaking of that, Clarissa Shields, two-time
I
Olympic
saw.
boxer, just signed to PFL. I mean, I think that's a good way for her to go to get her feet wet, starting off at an organization like that instead of starting off at somewhere like LFA and UFC. How do you think she's gonna do?
Well, she's a fighter. She's a fighter. She has a lot of experience, but it's a new thing. It's just wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, the kicks. Only you can beat a boxing person by just kicking their hands. So I'm interesting on the opponents that are gonna be presented to her, because that's the other thing that kind of says a lot of how the fight is gonna go. But I think she's gonna do good. She's an amazing athlete. She's an amazing fighter. She has a lot of experience. So yeah, I think she's gonna do great. She's already amazing.
Got it. And then one other thing, I always have a segment to where we call the fight of the night or remember the fight. I just want to ask you, where were you at and what do you remember about this fight? Joanna Jacek taking on Zhang.
I was gonna tell you, you said like a memorable fight, and I was gonna tell that that was one of the best fights I ever seen in women's, division. And I was actually at the event. My teammate Benil Dariush, he fought that
Um,
night. He got the knockout.
on
Uh,
close, right?
yeah,
Jakar close. Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
So I had the pleasure to be right there, seeing the fight going on, and it was amazing. It was a great show, and it's inspiring. I think that's the type of fights that make people like women's MMA fights. Because it doesn't matter if it's women or not, but sometimes the fights go to division, and I say my own. A lot of my work has done like that, but I don't want that. I want interesting fights like what Joanna just, she did. It was just, it was great.
It was great. It was awesome. It was epic. I mean, it's one of those to where I remember watching it and I had to wake up my wife and say, "Hey, get in here." Like it was third
Watch
round and I'm
this.
like, you have to watch this. You cannot miss this at all. I mean,
Definitely.
the level of martial arts that was put on display, the level of heart, the level of determination. I mean, what are they talking about? This is a man's world, a man's sport. What do they mean? Like that fight right there was one of the greatest period in history.
Totally.
Women or man excluded. History.
Totally. Yeah, it's just amazing. And after that, it was Joel Romero's fight with Adesanya, and it wasn't what people didn't expect. And not even after that fight, people were just like shocked, because two women in strawweight gave that spectacular show, and the big guys didn't. So yeah, it was kind of polemic there.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. I just wanted to, yeah. See, I was gonna ask what was the memorable fights that you had, but I brought that one out. Should have just hold my tongue, But
Yeah, no, but that's a great fight this year for sure. They opened and they closed the year how it was.
yeah, and I mean, this is coming from Dana White, making those strong comments. Women will never fight in the UFC, and man, I'm so glad he ate those words because man, we got some history
Yeah.
done. We got one of the best Colombian fighters in the UFC right now. We got Sabina Mazo on seconds out right now. We just ran through an interview, a long list of questions with her. So if you guys are just now tuning in, checking out the stream, you guys might want to rewind this when we get done and see what we were talking about because there's some interesting things going on coming from Colombia. So we're gonna wrap this up right here. One thing I just want to say, my owner, Slaughter, just wants to give a special shout out and appreciation for coming on Pub Sports Radio. He wants to say thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate for the interview. It's also amazing for me to spread the word and to just talk about the things that I love.
Oh, I'm sorry. Before I let you out of here, yes, Slaughter wouldn't be right. He always asks this question. So what's the weirdest superstition or family tradition you guys have?
Oh, superstition or family tradition?
So look, Sabina, let me tell you one Impa Casagni has. Every single year, still nowadays, they dress up for Christmas and try to find Santa Claus. Still. So that's one that they have in their family tradition.
Well, there's a tradition, but it's not only family. I think it's a cultural thing from Colombia that every New Year's Eve you have to get your bags and like run around the street with the bags. That's gonna give you like some kind of luck to travel a lot next year. So you just see a bunch of people with bags running in the street, and that's kind of weird tradition.
Yep. There you go. I mean, that's definitely weird. People just run. When you say bags, though, like heavy bags, or is it multiple bags, or
anything that kind of represent that you're gonna travel. Like it can be travel bags, it can be whatever you find. But go walk with something, and you're gonna make sure that you're gonna travel next year.
Got it. So yeah, everybody has to tune in. So real quick before we go, if you could just give us a special little shout out for Seconds Out. It's a little saying we like to say. We like to say seconds out. Forget about all the other ones. We're the best out. If I could get that out, love it.
Wait. Seconds out.
Forget about the other shows. They're the best out.
Okay. Seconds out. Forget about the other shows. And I forgot the rest.
We're the best out.
You're the best out. We're the best out.
There we go, man.
Try my best.
Didn't even know. You guys got Sabina Mazo, the rapper, now in there, man. Okay, so real quick, before we go, this is your platform, your time right now. I'm gonna give you just 60 seconds, because I know you're a big person on positivity and everything. 2020 has been a crazy year out there, but sometimes we just gotta hold our heads up high and just, hey, we're here to live. Some people ain't. So give them some motivation to end out 2020 and bring in 2021.
I think everyone should focus on their dreams, focus on their goals, and kind of build towards it. It doesn't matter the circumstances. There's always a way to achieve them. There's always a way to pass through the circumstances and achieve it. So heads up, because this coming year, it's gonna be way better, and it's a matter of your attitude.
There you go. I love it. See, so there we go. All right. So folks out there, if you guys don't know, give her a follow right now on her Instagram and Twitter. Sabina Mazo, the Colombian queen, 9-1. She fights February 27th. The fight just got announced this week. Hope to see you back on the show before then so we can go over some more stuff and plug in everything. Until then, you made money for us over here at the MMA Locker Room, so we gladly appreciate all that as well. I just want to say it was a pleasure having you on Seconds Out here with us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
All right. All right. That's Sabina Mazo, you guys. You guys go ahead and give her a follow, give her a hollow right now. Seconds out. Forget about the other MMA shows. We're the best out. All right. Thank you guys, man. We're going to wrap it up from there. All right, Sabina.
Thank you, man.
Oh, oopsie. Sorry. But yeah. There we go. Sorry. All right. There we go. Yeah. Hey, that was man. That was my first interview with my first women MMA fighter. And you guys know out there, I love women's MMA. A lot of people talk about stuff like, oh, you shouldn't bet women's MMA. You guys know Millz. I love women's MMA. Now I got my first women's MMA fighter on the show. And she's a local, training around the area too. So it feels even better right there, man. So yeah, I just wanted to end this interview right here. You got MMA Locker Room right here on behalf of Seconds Out Pub Sports Radio with MMA Unhinged. Everybody hit that like, hit that subscribe. And yeah, check out Talking Hands later tonight. They're going to be going live.